Greetings, everybody. Good evening. We will give it just a minute here for folks to come on, as usual. Takes Facebook, and we're on Twitter now, at Derek Bauman, and YouTube at Derek Bauman, and trying to get LinkedIn's live that they're doing. Their functionality is still in beta. I'm trying to get approved for that. So if anybody's got any pull at LinkedIn, hook a brother up over there and get me approved for live on LinkedIn. So that's cool. We've got some folks joining us, so we'll be here with Scott in just a moment. We'll give everybody a few more seconds to come online, but please share this post. Scott and I were just talking before we came on about how important it is today under these COVID circumstances in a campaign of 44 days away from Election Day. That all of our folks on the slate, reach as many people as we possibly can, and especially people are more and more on social media these days because of COVID. So to the degree that you all can share this post and everybody can get to know Scott, which is a good thing. So with all that being said, at Derek Bauman, Twitter, YouTube, and here on Facebook, and we've shared in a number of groups. And Scott, we are on, buddy. So thank you for joining us this evening, and I've been looking forward to having you on, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Derek. This is fantastic. Very appreciative, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime. So as usual, what we like to do on the show is get to know people, civic leaders, community, and of course, our dates here in Hamilton County in the city of Cincinnati, and get to know a little bit more about you as people, as individuals, not just the little campaign speech that you might hear out on the campaign trail. So with all that being said, the floor is yours, my friend. Tell us a little bit about Scott Crowley of the Cincinnati Crowleys.
Yes. So yes, thank you, Derek. My name is Scott Crowley. I am a member of the Crowley family, born and raised here, Hamilton County, Ohio. From the west side, I grew up in Delhi Township, went to Our Lady of Victory grade school, went to Elder High School. And while I was at Elder, I was on that football field every Friday nights in the marching band. Yes, I am a band geek. I was in the drum line, yes. And I went to the University of Cincinnati for college, where I was in the marching band again. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
No, fun fact, I did not know that.
Yes, I am a band geek, so I'm a drummer. Yes, and I was in the drum line. So very proud of that.
So you got rhythm now. Did you guys do all the high stepping and all that kind of stuff?
Well, yes.
I didn't know the Crowleys had rhythm like that.
Actually, yes. Took a while. I started playing drums in the 8th grade, so it took a while to pick up on it. And then, I was in marching band. It was fantastic. And then, so I went to UC for undergrad, and then I went to UC for law school. Did really well in school, graduated with honors. But the thing I did in law school was, while I was there, I accepted my commission as an officer in the United States Marine Corps. 2 weeks after I took the bar exam, I was placed on active duty, where I served as a judge advocate. I like to tell people this, where, like the movie A Few Good Men, it's just, I was not Tom Cruise, the Navy defense attorney. I was Kevin Bacon, the Marine prosecutor, yes. So did that for 4 years. I left active duty, and now I'm a prosecutor for the city of Cincinnati, where I also serve as a Veterans Treatment Court prosecutor. When I left active duty,
tell us a little bit about that. For those that aren't specifically familiar with that court, and the city's role in being a prosecutor in that court, how does that work?
Yeah, sure. So, Veterans Treatment Court is a court specifically designed for veterans that find themselves in the criminal justice system as a result of their PTSD or addiction that they now have because of their experience in combat. And so what we do is we link up with the VA, we put them on a term of probation, and I oversee and supervise those cases while they're in that court. We link up with the VA to make sure that they're getting the treatment necessary. We place that as a condition of their probation to make sure they're following their treatment plan, and give them the tools and resources that they need to handle their addiction and PTSD. They're usually there for about a year, and then we have a graduation, and it's it works. It's fantastic. It's a great resource, and it's a great way to help veterans that have essentially just hit rock bottom get their lives back together.
So, coming from my law enforcement background, 26 years, I really like this piece because we know that addiction, two things, addiction and mental illness ultimately drives so much of, at the end of the day, what becomes, a criminal justice problem, where folks are getting arrested. But if you really start peeling the layers back and get down to those root causes, it's a mental illness situation. It's an addiction issue. And particularly given the challenges that folks that have been in combat, of course, we've been in, in some constant state of war now. We tend to forget about it, those of us that are here not actively serving. And so we've got, thousands and thousands of veterans that are coming back that are facing these challenges. So is there any data around the efficacy of that? Is it pretty effective, more so than if that type of a court didn't exist and they just went right into the regular system?
So we're monitored by the Ohio Supreme Court, so I'm sure they are keeping data on that. I'm not sure of the official counts and numbers, but I will say that we typically do graduate almost every single veteran. There is every once in a while where, it's just not a good fit or they're not ready. And so we have to part our ways, but the majority of the time they do graduate. And then the majority of the time they stick with the VA and their treatment plan. And then this is the beautiful part, we don't see them in the criminal justice system anymore. And so it goes back to your point, right, of actually going to the root cause of what is causing this individual to turn to crime and addressing it and fixing it. And we deal with not almost, and this is in municipal court, but most of the crimes are eligible for Veterans Treatment Court, anywhere from, stealing to, help your addiction to criminal damaging or, aggressive behavior. And we get to that root cause and put them on a very strict probation. This probation is actually more strict than regular probation. And we address those root causes, like you pointed out.
So the cool thing about that is, and we'll fast forward, tie this, how all this relates to your role that you're pursuing as county recorder, how that kind of relates, because there's specific responsibilities in that office that deal with veterans a lot of people that aren't aware of. But I think it's great, that you're in this role given your military background. And secondly, that it kind of, I think, as Democrats, really supportive of getting, but not just locking people up and throwing, and that's the end of it, but really approaching some of these, root issues. It's fantastic. So just moving forward from your current role, tell us a little bit, we'll get to the campaign, but tell us a little bit more about the county recorder's office. Probably a lot of people don't even necessarily know what the county recorder does. So why is that important to me as a voter? Why I should care about this race?
Okay, the county recorder's office is responsible for your deeds. It's responsible for your mortgage. That is the office that keeps and protects real estate documents. And so in order to make sure that you have that clean and clear title to your home, so you can get a mortgage, so you can transfer it, the recorder's office protects that. And so when we talk about the recorder's office, and this is one of the reasons why I'm running as well, is that we're actually we are seeing criminals use the recorder's office to steal homes, to steal properties. Yeah, so in 2017, we actually had a mortgage fraud ring target our recorder's office and steal over $1 million worth of property by filing false deeds. That's what they did. And what we saw then is that all the other counties around us responded by implementing these fraud alert systems. Even Montgomery County cited the mortgage fraud ring of 2017 as why they implemented theirs. And so Montgomery, Butler, Claremont, Warren, they all have these. We don't. And in 2019, it happened again. Another criminal enterprise stole over $600,000 worth of property on Hamilton Avenue. And one of the victims there said it cost $11,000 just to get their property back from these criminals.
Right.
And so today we still don't have a fraud alert system. And so once elected, I plan on implementing that system. But that's the main responsibility of the recorder's office is to protect your deed and mortgage. Yes.
So, well, that's interesting to me. First of all, that we had that happen once is bad enough. The fact that it happened a second time is really bad. And what you're telling me is that other counties have systems in place to protect and guard against that, and be a red flag if things start happening that are out of whack. And we still haven't implemented that here. So I'm not sure what the holdup is, but it feels like we should be doing it if they're doing it other places.
I don't know the answer to that question either. And like most of these counties are even reporting that it did not cost a dime of taxpayer money to implement these systems. And we're seeing not only are all the major counties implementing these systems, now we're seeing even the smaller counties do it. Miami, Green, Mahoning just recently implemented theirs because their recorder knew someone where this happened to them. Someone tried to steal their home by filing a false deed. So it's not only becoming a problem here, it's becoming a problem in the state of Ohio. And so we need this system. It needs to be implemented in place. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like we're at risk. And if other counties are taking these actions to protect themselves, which they should be, then that, just by my common sense, means there's a less number of counties that are open to this kind of activity. And so maybe we're even more of a target than we were before, just because of other places are getting on to what the protections are. Is that a fair statement?
I think that is a fair statement, because not only, so once, and this should come as no shock because these are sophisticated criminal enterprises, once you have the system in place, shocking, I mean, there's no instances of it, because now they know that
Right.
it is in place in this county and they could get caught. So
Right. No, that makes all kind of sense. So, so other than recording the deeds and keeping track of those records and protecting them, keeping them safe, are there any other aspects to the recorder's office?
yes, and this is a reason why I'm running. So the county recorder's office is responsible for issuing the countywide veteran ID card. And I want to tell a story about this. I'm going to try and keep it quick, but I remember when I left active duty in 2015, I got my apartment in Price Hill, and I was actually looking for furniture. I was looking for a couch, and I remember going to this furniture store after I would work out at the gym, and I saw this couch at a furniture store, and I wanted to buy it, and I was wearing this old Marine Corps hoodie, and the guy looked at me and was just like, "Did you serve?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I actually just got out, And he's like, "Well, you're not paying that price on the couch, you're paying this price." And it's just like, whoa, and it was a discount. And so I started thinking about that, where it was just like, when we're actually in the service, we have our military IDs, and most people give out discounts for that. And it makes sense for veterans, though, because like in Veterans Treatment Court, the transition is difficult. And veterans have a difficult time adjusting, and then they hit rock bottom like in Veterans Treatment Court. So I looked in to see if there was a veteran's ID for the state of Ohio, and there was. It was issued at the recorder's office. And so this was back in 2015, 2016. I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, it's issued at the recorder's office. In 2018, when I took over the Veterans Treatment Court prosecutor position, you would hear stories from veterans where they would say, I'm just hit hard financially. I'm in Veterans Treatment Court. I need help getting clothes for job interviews. I need help getting furniture after I complete inpatient treatment. And I remember thinking, well, why aren't we using the veteran's ID card? Because that's here. Like, why aren't we using this? Well, I come to learn now we are issuing it. But right now we just have 0 businesses that are even registered to take part in this program. We don't even have a place on the website for businesses to say, I would like to be recognized as a veteran-friendly business that wants to give back to the veteran community. Warren County has 100 businesses listed on their website that take part in this program. We have 0.
Wow.
So that's why I decided to run, just because, having worked in the veteran community and seeing where we can improve and helping them get their lives back together, I mean, that's what I would like to do with this office. And I think that's what the veterans need, trying to get their lives back together, is that financial assistance and help to do that.
No, that's a great point. And literally nobody would have any idea that that's even something that the recorder's office could do. And so I think that's a great message. And I'm glad you brought that up, that we have, or there is available, a program for veterans to get ID cards that could be used as identification to at businesses. We could have a database of those businesses that are supportive in that way. Warren County does it, smaller than Hamilton County, and we just don't do it. Yeah, we're failing our veterans unnecessarily. So, yeah, very, very interesting. So, how did you get? And I understand with your military connection, being in the Marine Corps, and your focus on these veterans issues, which I think is fantastic. But how did you get engaged in terms of running for recorder? What was like the first thing that just kind of like a light bulb went off and said, I want to focus on this office, and there's a lot we can do to improve that.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, I left active duty in 2015 and, I just immediately got involved with local politics, whether that was, walking in parades, whether that was knocking on doors, whether that was attending events, just got involved immediately in 2015. I even remember knocking on doors in 2017 for the Cheviot law director, position, and just getting involved that way. And then eventually, the idea started to, it creeps into your mind to, well, maybe I want to run. Like, what can I run for?
Right.
And then, having experienced that business that, helped out, with me and my furniture, and then seeing the veterans and veterans treatment corps that are saying, well, I'm trying to get a job interview. I need money for clothes. I just completed inpatient treatment. I need furniture for my apartment, and then seeing the lack of action with regards to that veteran's ID card, it made me just want to jump in and say, okay, well, this is an office that I want to run for so that I can make a difference and help our community in ways that also I have the background to really passionately move that program forward. And then when you start looking into the veteran's ID card, you don't have to look much further and see how there's issues with how we're protecting our deeds in that office. And so when you look into those issues and you decide, yes, I'm going to run and this is how I want to make a difference in my community and how I want to improve in office, that's why I ultimately did decide to run. Yes.
Oh, that's great stuff, man. And let me just take a quick programming note here and let everybody know if you have any questions or comments or just want to say, hey, feel free to drop those in the comments, no matter which platform that you are watching this on. And I will keep an eye on those and get to those. If you do have any questions in the meantime, of course, if you would share this post, share this tweet, that would be fantastic. So we get the message out. Let me ask you this. I've asked, the discussion has come up, especially with, like, for example, Fanon Rucker in the prosecutor's office, where out of 200 and some employees, mostly attorneys in the prosecutor's office, there's like one African American, and it's really, I think, just speaks to the long kind of nepotism that there has been. With the Republican control of much of county government, that's obviously shifting now. We see the county's trending more blue. The Democratic Party is doing a great job in terms of organization, getting the slate out there. The candidates are everywhere, which is amazing. But still, it's kind of like, I don't know what the word, fossilized or whatever, where you get folks in there into these roles, they hire their friends and neighbors and whomever. Do you have any sense with the recorder's office? I don't know how big of an operation that is. Like, do we know how many employees there are, and maybe what the makeup of that is, and if there's any room to, improve on whatever the situation may be?
Yeah. So to answer your question, 20 employees at the recorder's office. It actually shrunk significantly. I think it was back in 2008, 2012. It was higher than 20. I want to say maybe even closer to 40, 50 employees. But then the budget and things just led to significant cuts in that office at that time. So right now there's 20 employees. With regards to diversity at that office, now this office is somewhat interesting because this is one of the offices that the Republicans have not been able to control for such a long period of time, like the clerk of courts and like the prosecutor's office.
All right, we had Wayne Coates, right?
Yes.
As county recorder for quite a while. That's right. I don't want to shortchange Wayne on that.
Yeah, and Wayne Coates, yeah, he was there from 2008 to 2016. And so with regards to the diversity in that office, I believe we can always improve it, however.
Right.
I believe it's okay where it's not necessarily the same as what the clerk of court's office was or what the prosecutor's office currently is.
Right.
Because we had that, Wayne Coates, fulfilling those democratic platforms of diversity and, treating everyone fairly and, kind. And so I hope that answers your question, but it's definitely not similar to, the prosecutors. And now it's something that we can always improve upon, though. Our offices should always, reflect the diversity of our community. Just always.
Right. No, that's good stuff. And I just didn't really have any idea how big the recorder's office was. So we're talking a couple of dozen employees there. From a budget standpoint, how does, and I think it's similar to other county offices, but how does the budget work? Is it so in other words, you don't raise taxes and name your budget. The commissioners apportion a certain amount of county funding to run the recorder's office, and then that elected official uses those funds to operate the office as they see fit. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, the one thing to remember about the recorder's office is this is a money-driven, it brings money into the county.
Because of the fees and such associated with filing deeds, and like if I buy a property and I look at that on my closing statement, there's a whole list of stuff.
Yep.
Charge. Some of those are recording fees.
Yeah,
is that
so
right?
It's all costs, right? So I mean, the recorder's office is a revenue-generating office. It's almost never in the red. It's always in the black. It's revenue-generating. And here's the interesting thing to remember about the recorder's office is with regards to those costs. Costs did recently go up back in 2019. The Ohio General Assembly actually controls costs for the recorder's office. They do it via statute. And a lot of people necessarily didn't think raising costs was such a good idea, but I think it is, and for the following reasons. You have to remember, half of the costs at the recorder's office actually goes to the Ohio Housing Trust Fund, and then half goes to the county. The Ohio Housing Trust Fund is what helps with homelessness, affordable housing. And so Hamilton County does get a pretty good portion of that money for senior citizen centers, for the YWCA to help women escape, violent relationships, and for affordable housing. And so costs, back to your original question where it comes to the recorder and the budget, I mean, it's a revenue generating office, and yes, the commissioners control the budget and we get that money to operate, but costs are the driving factor here, and it goes to great causes.
No, that's awesome, and something I didn't really realize. So just because I like to kind of recap for those of us like me that, kind of deal in short sound bites and sentences, what you're saying is the state of Ohio has a fund for affordable housing, which is funded perhaps in part by half of the money that goes to these recorders fees. And so when I'm paying that, I feel bad because I'm paying that money, but I shouldn't feel bad because actually a lot of it's going to a good cause, and the other half's going to operate your audit office, which is then with the great systems that you're going to put in place, are going to make sure that nobody's stealing my property by filing fraudulent deeds. Is that right?
You said it better than me. Your synopsis is better than mine.
I love how it's starting to make sense to me now. I didn't understand all what goes on at the recorders.
Well, and that increase in 2019, so the Ohio Housing Trust Fund, I don't think has seen an increase in their budget for 16 years. And so the proponents of that fund were seeking an increase for those reasons, and also because homelessness had gone up in the state almost 20%. And so they were originally seeking $8 million. With those increase in costs, I think it got them to around $2.53 million. They were still very great for it, for, again, a great cause. So that's one thing to remember about the recorder's office. Revenue generating goes to the county. Revenue generating goes to the Ohio Housing Trust Fund for affordable housing and a good cause.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. And I think we need you in office, not only because you're just a damn good man, but also like you've got plans for the recorder's office. I like this. For those of us just joining now, Scott laid out the landscape where we have criminal enterprises going around the state filing false documents, filing false deeds, and in that way basically stealing people's properties. In doing that, it probably takes a ton of attorneys and everything else to go through and sort all that out and get to the bottom of it. And right now, we don't have anything in place to safeguard against that, and other counties do, which is crazy to me. So we need to get that fixed. And then you plan to get the veterans ID cards, which this office is responsible for and doesn't do. Like Warren County signs up businesses over 100 to participate, and so you can connect veterans and businesses that way. Yeah, I mean, this is making total sense to me. I'm all in. I'm all in for Crowley for recorder. So having said that, kind of the final step is here, this campaign. Tell me about the campaign trail. How's it been going? First of all, we got a note. I'm like in total Crowley motif tonight. I'm in green. We had the walls painted just to match your campaign colors. And so we're on brand. We're on Crowley brand tonight. But tell me, how's it been? It's we've talked about it on the show how weird it is in these COVID times of trying to reach voters.
Yeah, so I mean, you got me on the shirt. Mine's black, but I got my green water bottle and I got my green campaign sign back.
I love it.
I think you're right. I'm gonna have to maybe do some painting in here, but it's going great. I mean, the pandemic has obviously thrown a huge curveball when it comes to campaigning, but getting the word out has been fantastic in the sense is because you just have so many people in your corner, and this is the first time I'm running in a race, and it's just humbling and amazing to see what people are willing to do in terms of lit drops and phone calls and just getting behind you and supporting you 100%. And it's just amazing. So first off, if everybody that's watching, thank you so much. But the campaign's going great. We only have a few days left. We're just going to continue doing the lit drops and the phone baking and reaching voters that way. And, but the main drive has been the supporters and the people, and they've just been fantastic, amazing.
It's humbling, isn't it? I mean, running for council in 2017, and we had tons of volunteers throughout that campaign and had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was an amazing experience. And then, just our campaign alone on election day had like 60 or 70 polling locations covered, people standing out. It was a cold, kind of rainy, miserable day, and people were out there. And man, I'm going around to those, various polling locations, and we had coffee and donuts and stuff we were taking around. But it just means so, like it's moving, man. Almost a little tear to my eye, that people are willing to do that. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Right, and even the primary election, I made sure to try to go at least, almost every single lunch break to the Board of Elections, just to check on those volunteers and see how they're doing and making sure, because it's just inspirational. It's amazing. So,
Very cool. Very cool. So, time always flies on the show. It's crazy how fast it goes. Already coming up on a half hour here. If I want to get engaged, if I want to get involved and help Scott Crowley, the guy that we need for Hamilton County Recorder, how do I go about doing that? As a matter of fact, I got your website up here, votescottcrowley.com. I can drop that in the comments for people, the link to that. What do? We go on there, we make a little donation, drop a little Scooby sack. I always say these yard signs and stuff don't buy themselves, shockingly. What else can we do? If we want to volunteer, how can I get engaged and involved in that?
VoteScottCrowley.com, get a volunteer, hit the volunteer link. That does go directly to me. And so I'll reach out to you and then see if you're available for any phone banking or lit drops. But also, hit that contribute button. And then also, we still got plenty of, green yard signs. So just let us know if you want one of those as well. We appreciate the support, everybody. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much.
No, that's awesome, man. And in addition to that, there's also, I'm going to do a separate post on this maybe later on this evening or tomorrow. the Hamilton County Democratic Party has a number of events going on across the county, across the city of Cincinnati. I know I'm going to be in Westwood this weekend. I think Clifton, their ward has something going on there. There's different things going on around. And look, not only for the county recorder's race, but up and down the ticket, obviously starting at the top. This is, it's a little bit hyperbole because they say this every election cycle, like this is the election of our time. I don't think it's hyperbolic in saying that right now.
Not for this.
And obviously Ohio is an important state. Hamilton County is very important within Ohio. And so to the degree that all of us, including candidates even running for county recorder or any other seat in office right now, the more we can all work together and get people out is just going to help that entire ticket. And I think the Dems have been doing a great job of getting that ticket out and that slate card and getting that out to folks. So votescottcrowley.com. I dropped we put that up on the screen right there. How you like that? We got technology around here, man. This is a free show, and you get your money's worth. And every now and again, it works like it's supposed to. So votescottcrowley.com, and then you have in addition to your personal Facebook, you have a campaign Facebook page. Where can I find that?
That's on Facebook. It should be Vote Scott Crowley on Facebook.
Yeah, search for Scott Crowley. It's going to come up on there for county recorder. And with that being said, man, another quick half hour tonight. I appreciate you being on the show, Scott. This was a lot of fun. I learned more as I do on these shows about the county recorder's office and the changes that we need to make and the improvements that we can make there. So that's great stuff. So I really, really appreciate it, man.
Hey, I know, Derek. Thank you for having me. This is great. It's been fantastic. And just thank you. That's awesome.
No,
thank you.
I appreciate it. And everybody head over to votescottcrowley.com. And of course, for me, Derek, oh, that's the wrong one. See, look, I was talking too much and then I'm going to screw it up. All right. We got the website back up there. At Derek Bauman, this will be up on the YouTube channel. We were out on Twitter tonight at Derek Bauman on there. And of course on Facebook as well. As always, Cincinnati and Hamilton County, we appreciate you joining us, and we will be back with you on Wednesday with another great guest. I'm not at liberty to announce just yet. It's tentative, but I think we're going to have a show you don't want to miss Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So again, Scott, we're out of here, man, but thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.